So lads, it has finally happened. It has finally happened. Luka Doncic has lost a game for the Slovenia national team. 17-0. Unfortunately, he could not go 18-0. And my God, what a game that was. France versus Slovenia. One of the best basketball games I have ever seen. And there's no question about that. It was just crazy. It has everything. First of all, it's a one-off game. It's the equivalent of Game 7 in the NBA Finals. Second of all, it's the Olympic semi-final. And it's evident by the players that this is as important to all of these guys. Getting an Olympic medal is as important as winning an NBA championship for nearly all of these guys. And my God, was it something spectacular. It was something spectacular. Before we go on to that, why not just talk a little bit about the free agency news? So, Aldridge is considering making a return, which is great. If he's able to play, fingers crossed, if he's able to play, hopefully he comes back, because Aldridge, and one of the best players of the 2010s, one of the best players of the 2010s, the last decade. I'd love to see him play, and I would have loved to have seen him play for the Nets, but unfortunately, he was diagnosed with, I'm not sure if it was a heart or blood clots. Either way, it's something that if he can play, fair play to him. And then Julius Randle, obviously, 4-year, $170 million extension. For an all-star in this day and age, that's not actually that bad money. He's worried about that. But the Knicks, I like the Knicks. I really like the Knicks coming into next year. Either D-Rose or Kemba starting. You've got Fournier, you've got RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. I like that lineup. I really like that lineup. But anyway, now let's talk about the first game that was on today, which was the USA versus Australia game. So this game right here was a bit of a weird one. So a lot of people are probably saying, oh, look, it was a 20-point game, it was a blowout. It wasn't. As you guys can see here, the third quarter, USA won by 22 points. One quarter was a tie, Australia. If you take it the third quarter, Australia won, but again, that's irrelevant to the game of basketball. But it was such an interesting game because Australia in the first half were good, but USA were awful in the first half. Let me just say that right now. They were awful. Defensively, they weren't great. But, Australia went up 44-31. And from then on, obviously they were 15 at one stage. And then I'm pretty sure it was 54-45 or something. It was something ridiculous like that. They went on a 25-3 run. It's something mad. Or 25-4. It was a crazy run that USA went on. USA came out and couldn't miss to start the third, a bit like what they did against Spain. But Australia, just at the end of that second quarter, they couldn't catch an offensive rebound, or couldn't catch a defensive rebound. Obviously, having Aaron Baines would have helped. But I don't know how much it would have helped. Half of those rebounds are being caught by Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday, who is clearly the second best player on this team. I get it, Booker played well. Booker shot the ball really well. Tatum shot the ball really well. Jason Tatum came in, 3 of 6 from 3, and he hit some timely baskets. I know he was only 3 of 10 from the field, but man, Tatum had a good game. But without doubt, this Drew Holiday fella, he is the second best player on this team. He is probably their best defender. He's one of their best rebounders. 4 offensive rebounds for Drew Holiday in that game. Crazy stuff. And he's just Kevin Durant's Kevin Durant. But my God, is Drew Holiday showing that he's one of the best point guards in the world, one of the best tertiary options in the world. But Kevin Durant obviously came out and hit everything in the third quarter. They came back into the game a little bit. I think they were down 15, and Kevin Durant, it was just KD iso ball in the first half, and KD was struggling a little bit. He took a mad fadeaway mid-range shot that kind of got a little bit of momentum. Then, as soon as it went to a 3-point game at halftime, it was GG's. It was game over. USA had the momentum. But I still don't think USA did well in the first half. Australia just couldn't catch a defensive rebound, and they couldn't hit a wide open shot. It was just wide open shot after wide open shot. They were throwing the ball to USA players. They were passing the ball to nobody. At one stage, Dellavedova attacked, or Dante Exum attacked the basket. instead of having what was probably a difficult enough layup, threw the ball into the stands because he assumed someone was going to be in the corner. It was just a weird end to a second half for Australia. But weird end to the first half. But the start of the second half from USA was as good as I've ever seen a team play in international ball. And it's not just from the fact that they hit basically every shot. Their defense was ridiculous. Their defense was absolutely ridiculous in the third quarter. They went from switching everything hesitantly and just doing what they did against Spain, just letting them get whatever matchup they want, to playing ultra aggressive, switching everything as aggressively as possible. And man, they looked good. They look good. If they play like this against France, they're not losing. They are not losing. Even if they start off slowly, if they play defense like they did, they are not losing that game. And Dame Lillard is the one player that's struggling. He is the player that, before the Olympics, I said shouldn't be starting for Team USA. My whole thing was I believe that the starting lineup, I think Middleton should have started. My preferred starting line for USA would be Drew Holiday, Booker, Middleton, Kevin Durant, and Bam Adebayo. But yeah, Dame is just kind of struggling in this setting. But again, it doesn't seem to be making too much of a difference because it seems like a different player is stepping up every single game. Obviously, Drew and KD have been outstanding throughout this Olympics, but some games Booker stepping up, Levine stepped up at times, and yeah, it's gonna take a lot to beat. It's gonna take a lot to beat this USA team. But now, for one of the craziest games I have ever seen, what is one of the craziest games that I've seen in my lifetime, the France versus Slovenia game. The France versus Slovenia game, lads. I'm just going to show you guys right here the last possession. We'll go over the last possession of the game in a minute. But Slovenia started off, get an 8-point lead to start off the game. Obviously, France bring that back. Second quarter, it's dead even. Third quarter, France go on a crazy run. Slovenia are struggling. France get a 10-point lead, and Slovenia start to bring it back a little bit towards the end of the quarter. It's a 6-point game going into the fourth. Luka, by the way, he shot badly, but I don't believe he played badly. I think he had an all-around good game. He made some good defensive plays. He passed the ball exceptionally well, but he shot extremely badly. Then the fourth quarter was just nuts. So like you can see right here, Rudy Gobert. In international play, Rudy Gobert is the best big man in basketball. I'm just saying that right now. With the way the game is international play, the fact he can camp in the key, he is the best big man in international basketball. No question about that, including Jokic. Is he better in the NBA than Jokic? No. Is he a top 5 big man in the NBA? Debatable. But in specifically international play, Rudy Gobert is the best big man you can have. Frank Ntilikina literally just came on to guard Luka Doncic. Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot did an incredible job on Doncic. So Doncic started off the game well, but there's one thing I noticed from the Clippers series. If you double team Doncic, you're going to struggle. If you play Doncic, if you pick one defender and say he's guarding Luka, you're going to struggle. The only way you can guard Luka is by throwing different bodies at him constantly. Like, he was constantly being switched on. Batum, TLC, and Ntilikina played a few minutes. They were always guarding Luka Doncic and always switching, so that eventually you can tire him out, because you can. Like, if you put constant defenders on, that's why I was worried. I thought Slovenia had no chance in America. Because America could throw constant bodies on him. Even play a Jeremy Grant or a Keldon Johnson in that game just to throw at him. So that would have been a very, very interesting one. But Evan Fournier started off very slowly, came into it with a brilliant second half. And then Nando De Colo, the guy I said was going to give a lot of people trouble, had an unbelievable game right there. But for Slovenia, Luka, you can see right here, 5 of 18 from the field, 2 of 9 from 3. Like, that is... Look, that's bad shooting. That is bad shooting. And then late on in the game, he took a couple of shots in the fourth quarter that I don't think he should have took. He took a couple of step-back threes that were very, very iffy shots, if I do say so myself. I think he shot the ball maybe a little bit too much, because at the end of the day, Mike Toby, Blazic, and Prepelic were the three guys that were hitting shots. I know it doesn't seem like it by looking at the 3-point percentage, but no, these were the guys that were hitting shots down the stretch. And it was just a mental end to the game. Like, at one stage, I think there was one of the most dumb technical fouls I've ever seen being called on Slovenia late in the game. But then all of a sudden, France go down and there's a shot clock malfunction and France chuck up a shot because they think it's the end of the shot clock, but it's not the end of the shot clock. Slovenia go down and score, and then suddenly it's a technical foul and a technical free throw. And then Slovenia ended up with a 5-point play at one stage. Slovenia down by 5, suddenly get a 5-point play. And one, missed the free throw, catch the rebound, and won. It's just neck and neck the whole way through. TLC hits an incredible 3-point shot that looks like it's going to end the game to give France a 5-point lead, or 4-point lead. And then they come right down. Slovenia come right down. Luka Doncic hits a wide open 3-point shooter. They hit the 3. Like, Doncic with 18 assists. And Doncic also was playing with one hand. Like Doncic was playing with one hand. And he comes out with 18 assists, a triple-double. So, like, he didn't shoot the ball well. He didn't play as great his game, but I mean, he did everything right. In terms of his decision-making, people saying he didn't shoot the ball enough, I think he shot the ball too much. I think he shot the ball a little bit too much. But let's take a look at this video right here. Let's take a look at this right here. So, let's get the comment, get this down. So, Luka Doncic on the ball right here. 6 seconds to go. He drives in. All the defense collapses to him. He hits him for an open layup. Nick Batum! Nick Batum from nowhere. Blocked by James. Blocked by James. Like, this is the perfect thing to do. People are literally on Twitter talking about how Luka Doncic has no killer instinct because he didn't shoot the shot. He's being guarded by a 7'2" player with an 8-foot wingspan. One of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA, Nick Batum, who's also 6'9" with a 7'1" wingspan. And he's being double teamed by both of them. He hits a wide open player who is the hot hand. Means Batum has to scramble, and he has an open lane to the basket. Like any player on the floor except for Nick Batum and Rudy Gobert, this is a basket. Like, look at this. You would think this is a wide open layup. This is a wide open layup. If you are saying right now, watching this video, saying Luka Doncic should have taken the shot, taken a terrible shot and probably missed, instead of hitting a player for what looked to have been a wide open layup, you don't know basketball. You don't know basketball. Because this is a professional basketball player who has the hot hand. Just as Luka Doncic is the best player. And that's exactly what it is. One of Luka Doncic's best assets is his ability to get players around him playing better. And this is exactly what he did. And then Gobert. And this looks like it's an open layup. This still looks like it's a layup. Even up to here. And Gobert just gets it off the board. Mental. Absolutely mental. One of the craziest ends to a game I've ever seen. One of the craziest ends to an incredible unbeaten run for Luka Doncic and Slovenia. Slovenia versus Australia for the bronze. I'm calling Slovenia. I'm calling Slovenia in that game. I think Australia are spent. Australia looked spent against America. Like, Slovenia, Doncic looks exhausted because, again, of course he would be. Any player in the world would be exhausted taking on the role Luka Doncic is taking on. It's like he's taking on more of an individual responsibility than freaking 2018 LeBron James. But the final, this is going to be a close game. I think USA win because just how crazy they played in the last 2 third quarters. But I would have called USA by 30 against Slovenia. I'm calling USA by 10 against France. And again, I think if it's a close game, I can see USA choking because France are incredible in the stretch. But I think USA would have beat Slovenia by 30, a little bit like Serbia in the last Olympics. But yeah, that is pretty much it, lads. That is pretty much it. A crazy day of international basketball. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.